This is a Harper Guys production.
The Harper contains foul language and adult material. If you are easily offended and thin-skinned, you should hit the stop button now. And if you are not a complete idiot, let's get this party started.
Let's get down to brass tacks, gentlemen. If I was informed correctly, the clock is ticking. Is that right, Jimmy?
But good luck arguing that in court. Let me get down to brass tacks.
Listen, let's get down to brass tacks here. How much for the ape?
Jack, let's just cut the crap and get down to brass tacks here.
Are you hating on Neil Diamond?
Holy fuck Neil Diamond.
Our dream of deathmatch is going to come to fruition, and my golden ticket is going to pay off. Hoo-ah. Don't you fucking hoo-ah me, motherfucker.
I want the ability to time travel.
This is stupid.
Welcome to the Hopper, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jake. With me, as always, my co-host, Adam.
That's right.
Going to start off tonight with a little bit of extra content in our PSA.
Si, senor.
We got a couple of promos that we're going to play for you here tonight. I don't know if you can tell. We look a little bit more real, a little bit more authentic. We have professional lighting now on staff.
Or as professional as it's going to fucking get.
That's right. It's not just the camera. The light also adds 10 pounds. So, fuck you.
It's like we're sitting out in front of a campfire and somebody's got their truck lights on us so we can, see what the fuck we're doing.
That's a lot going on.
Yeah.
What you got for us tonight?
Episode 64. You can visit us at theharperguys.com. Follow and share. Also visit us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio.
Nice.
If you're watching us on YouTube right now, subscribe, comment, and become part of the show. Not even going to give you a chance to fuck it up.
I literally had the show loaded tonight. I was
I know you
waiting
did.
for him to say and become part of the, and I was going to be like, the show!
And I fucking just yanked it out from underneath him.
What are you going to do?
Thank you to Ethan Meeksel for the demilitarized zone, and you will hear it in its entirety, the rest of it at the end of the show. By the way, I reached out.
This is one of my things I was going to interject with.
Yeah, so
This is fun. I should have known you to put it on the show.
yeah, of course I would. So I've been on air on this show saying that I tried to reach out to Ethan on Twitter, and he didn't respond, and then whatever, we moved on. We still use his music. We love him. But I recently went to his website. Shocker, I should have just done that in the first place. Reached out to the contact me portion or contact us portion, and he responded. And I felt like we were in the just even though we were just corresponding, I felt like we were in the midst of greatness on that email trail.
He's an actual pro now, right? Like, he's a professional musician.
Well, I think he's been a professional musician for a while, but, probably lower tier. He's still trying to build a name for himself and whatnot. Plays around the New York area. I pretty much said, hey, we're using your music off of the YouTube.
Right, the free stuff.
The free stuff. And he came, and I said, basically, and long story short, we'd love to have you on, Skype him in. And he said right now he's doing some things, some other side projects. He's kind of out of the gigging for the moment, but he's going to be back in. And when he comes back, maybe we can work something out.
Can't wait to go gigging with him. It's going to be awesome.
That's right. And he actually said he was honored that we were using his music. So at that point, I was like, oh, MG.
I mean, if you listen to the show, I think just about anybody would be honored if we added their stuff in here, if they actually listen to it. So
maybe.
Probably.
All right, so that's all I really got. You got anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I do have one other thing that I would like to say that part of the show is brought to you by our friends at Hop and Frog Brewery.
Hop and Frog.
They came through with, and I know this is going to sound like a lot because it is a lot. It is a peanut butter hazelnut, chocolate, caramel, cake, stout. And it's delicious. So, congratulations to their master brewers for coming up with something that has...
Is that what I had a sip of?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
like there's so much going on, because there is. If you take your time drinking it, it is delicious.
It's basically a coffee in a beer can. It was pretty good, though.
Yeah, but with all the other flavors with it. And their big thing is they are really big on the barrel-aged scene. So if you're into barrel-aged beer, this is a great company to look for. That's Hop and Frog. So thanks again to our friends over there for our beer.
All right, I'll throw a little shout out, and you might actually be able to see this now.
Yeah.
The Deschutes. Oh, yeah, you can see that.
There you go.
Deschutes Black Butte. And it's quite a butte, Clark.
It is. It's a butte, Clark. That'll get us kicked off of fucking YouTube right there.
It's porter, and it's really good.
Yeah. And if you text your friends and you get it, it's going to come across on the autocorrect as black butt.
Yeah.
Like that black butt is delicious, which is what I read this week and almost pissed my pants laughing. I was like, is it, Adam? Is it delicious? So make sure that you that you proofread what you send to your friends if you give the Black Butte a try.
That's right.
Excellent.
Get down to brass tacks, gentlemen.
Let's get down to brass
Get down to brass tacks. What we're going to do now, for those on YouTube, we're going to put up the banner, the logo for the Rob and Slim Show.
Yes.
And for those of you in audio land, you just close your eyes and we're going to just or stare at your coworker, whatever you're doing. And we're going to play the Rob and Slim promo. So let me find it here. There you go. All right, YouTube land, you are set. And here we go. The Rob and Slim promo.
Rob. I'm Slim.
And I'm the Lamborghini himself, baby! Yeah!
The Rob and Slim Show is a weekly comedy show with an hour and a half of happy horseshit, followed by 4 half-hour interviews with actors, authors, and more.
Scott Baio loves us. And I smear shit on my stomach in the bathtub! Fuck yeah!
Catch us live every Wednesday, 6 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on IPMNation.com/live2 or Facebook.com/Rob and Slim.
Or listen to the Rob and Slim Show on Podbean or iTunes, baby! Yeah! I'll just shit my fucking pants!
All right.
That's a lot going on.
Sounds like the Lamborghini's trying to steal the show right there. I don't know about you, but
those guys are awesome, though. I mean,
we had a great time. We were on the show
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. I think it was 229 was the episode. I could be way off
for their episode number.
Gotcha. We had a great time. If that wasn't the right episode, you guys can correct us later and give us a big, fuck you, like we would give you.
Yeah. Hey, I will say this: they run a tight ship. They do a great job working their intros and their promos and how things got to be. They did a really, really great job. I was really impressed with how professional they were about how they handled everything. Great couple guys, entertaining as hell to listen to. Yeah. So it was a good time.
Very good time.
Check it out.
And now we're gonna give our sister show a little plug here, a little love.
Yeah.
So this is the Gallows podcast. You want to put a little intro to the Gallows intro?
Sure. I know that all of you have heard this before, so for those that are listening for the 64th time, thanks for following along at home. This is a show that was born out of a topic from this show. It's called The Gallows. It deals with all cases where somebody is convicted and ultimately executed, typically of capital murder in this country. That's really the only way to get yourself to the chair, unless you're the Rosenbergs, and that was a one-off, and that was back in the 50s. So, long story short, this is our true crime podcast, The Gallows. What makes a crime worthy of a death sentence? Since 1976, there have been over 1,500 inmates put to death by their state, and those numbers are rising.
The Gallows will provide you with a detailed look into these grisly cases and let you determine for yourself if the punishment fits the crime.
Was justice served? Were there participants in the crime that paid too high or too low of a cost? If you throw out what you think you know about capital punishment in the United States, your answers to these questions and more may surprise you.
Take an in-depth look at the darkest side of the criminal justice system and see who you believed deserved a trip to the gallows. All right, that goes on forever, so I'm going to shut it down.
Perfect. That's all right. It sounds great every time. I love it.
We can shut our shit down whenever we want.
That's right. It's good stuff, though. We take a lot of time and we put into it, and we try to make sure that we're giving you guys content that you need. So if you enjoy this show, we throw a little bit of this kind of interaction into it. It's not just me droning on for an hour. We try to get Adam's take, and he keeps me on point with asking questions. So
that's right. And do you have the information for our last public service announcement that we always give out?
Absolutely. If you or a loved one are suffering from any kind of substance abuse, physical abuse, anything along those lines, please do not hurt yourself or somebody else and reach out to 1-877-HELP. This helpline will help you with anything that you need. We believe strongly in mental health on this show. It's one of the cornerstones of what we do. We think that there's a huge gap between the people that actually need it and the people that are receiving it. Take the time, make a call, talk to somebody before you do something that you might end up regretting. Please, it could be the most important call that you make. So 1-877-HELP.
It's got to be more than that, right?
1-877.
1-800?
No. It's 1-877-622-HELP. Thank you. That's what it is. 1-800.
It's okay.
1-877-622-HELP.
Yes. So if you have bad thoughts about hurting yourself or somebody else, please call the number.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
So no more PSA for tonight?
I think we've covered all the bases.
I feel like that was one of those Joe Rogan shows where you go to start it and there was like 10 minutes at the beginning before you actually got into it.
That's okay.
Hey, we just put ourselves on Joe Rogan's It's going to be like this all night, folks. I apologize. Joe Rogan's plane.
That's okay.
Give us a harp to get started.
All right, God damn it. So, for a long time now, they've been removing. Let's see. I don't know how long ago they removed the Pledge of Allegiance
from the schools.
From the schools,
it was in the 2000s,
right? And I think even before that, they removed "In God We Trust" or something.
Oh, they've tried to, but they failed unceremoniously at that.
But the pledge is gone. I know Christmas time in schools now is called
holiday.
The holiday. There's no
because there's 11 of them now that are part of the holidays.
So the other day, I think we were watching TV, my wife and I, and it said on the screen, Valentine's Day. This was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
will now be known as Kindness Week. I don't care what they call it. That's not why I'm harping about it. But Valentine's Day, I understand it's Saint Valentine. That comes from a religious background, the Catholic Church, Saint Valentine. But when you think about Valentine's Day, do you think of it as a religious holiday?
There is nothing religious about hose and scantily clad outfits.
That's what I'm saying. So even if it was derived from a religious background, what the fuck are we doing?
I have no fucking clue. Like, this is the first time I've actually heard this one to where I couldn't be more off-put.
This is the one that I was just like, okay, wait. Stop the fucking press. How ridiculous have we gotten?
Right. To me, it takes away a fundamental part of your childhood. I mean, everybody had the little box, right? And, that you put your Valentines in, and you always wanted, you wanted Sally to give you, like, the best of the Valentines that she had. You know what I mean? And this could also be the time that you were, like, slyly, like, everybody's got to put something in her box. I'm not passing a note in class, but, like, do you want to be my girlfriend / my Valentine?
Right. Or,
hey,
as I've experienced, you could have the awkward girl be, like, all about you and be, like, letting everybody know, will you be my Valentine? And you're like, oh, shit.
Hey, it's an innocent part of a kid's childhood.
But
I feel like as adults, it's made mandatory for us to go out of our way to do something amazing for our spouse, which I think I've brought this up on the show before. We do not believe in traditional Valentine's Day. You can't get a reservation anywhere. Everything is way over fucking drummed for what it's supposed to be. So we take a weekend, typically the last weekend in January, we take for just the two of us to get away from everything. I get her a little present. We can call it Valentine's Day or not. She got me some Duluth Trading fucking buck naked underwear this year. Yeah, it's that good. I know the sticker shock is going to be like, holy shit, did I really just pay that much for underwear? You will not regret it. Go with the fucking Duluth. That's an unfucking paid plug right there for those people. I'm
No
telling you what.
chafing and no crimping.
That's right, dude. And it fucking holds the fuck up. It's amazing. But yeah. But to be changing it is where, I know that's where we started, not to go off too far down the wrong path, but I feel like it's wrong to change it. At some point, you have to give kids and society some fucking stability, and changing Valentine's Day to Kindness Week. I mean, I can be kind to my dog. My dog ain't my fucking Valentine.
Well, my problem is this. It's, for one, a lot of people believe that like a Valentine's Day holiday is a Hallmark holiday. It may not be completely, but there's like the Sweetest Day type things, which is 100% a Hallmark holiday.
I mean, you couldn't have something more fucking made up.
Right. So, of course, when my wife and I first started dating in the first few years we were married, we celebrated all this stuff and did all this stuff for each other.
That's because you're gonna hit some ass,
right? And most recently, well, not just even because of, most recently, we're just over it. We do nice things for each other all year round.
Amen.
You know, it doesn't.
You should.
It doesn't have to just be Valentine's Day. Now, I understand there's some of you out there that are like, hey, it is just another day to get a piece of ass, so be kind and have fun. I mean, that's fine too. But my overall harp on this is changing all the holidays in schools just doesn't seem American to me. It just doesn't. That's who we are. That's who we were for 40 years doing shit like this. And then all of a sudden, we got these people that don't want you to be, that think it's not politically correct. There's religion issues. And there was that when I was in school.
Everything.
I remember when there was kids that were Jehovah's Witness or Jewish, and they didn't participate. They were there. They just didn't participate. Now, there wasn't many of them, but there's still, the option was there. Sometimes they weren't even in there that day. They would take the day off, whatever. The bottom line is, to me, it's kind of like how, you know, many of us have been like, okay, English is our language.
Sure.
And there's been a lot of people that are just standoffish that have, and I almost agree with this. We're like, hey, if you're coming to America, you should learn our language. Now, I know there's been a lot of Spanish.
If you're going to come stay here?
That's what I mean.
Okay.
Now, I know we have a lot of Spanishes in our country now. Obviously, they're the closest connecting border that would be a different language.
You said Spanishes.
I said Spanishes?
You did.
Well, I didn't mean to. The Spanishes.
We got a lot of Spanishes here.
The Spaniards.
They're actually Mexicans. They're not actually from Spain.
Okay.
That would be like Tuscany,
well,
Barcelona.
You know what? Hey, I'm always evolving here. The Mexicans, I guess I should know that. I watch all the...
they speak Spanish, so you were rightish.
That's okay. Bottom line is, I believe that our shit was here. We created it. We if you don't want to participate in these holiday things, then just don't.
You know what? Quit fucking with our holidays. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Why
do we have President's Day? Do you remember when we used to have Washington Day and then Lincoln Day a week later? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Like with the whole time growing up in school, we had Washington Day and Lincoln Day. Now it's President's Day. We got to share them all together.
I mean, if you don't like it or disagree with it, keep your kid out of school for that day, like I said before, or instruct them not to participate in the fun. Yeah, that's right. It's fun to participate. And I get it. I get it if your religion doesn't allow it. Okay,
sure.
I'm not going to sit here and argue religions for the Spanishes. Okay, I'm just not going to do it. But just get over it. Get over it.
I think most of the Spaniards are Catholic, so
probably they don't. They shouldn't have a problem with
they're on board with Jesus.
Christmas and all that stuff.
A little different take, but close enough.
Right. I mean, I don't have an issue with whatever you do for your religion. You want to worship the devil, go fucking ahead. Just don't push it on me.
I agree.
And don't bitch about Christmas being in schools, saying the Pledge of Allegiance because it has the word God in it. Jesus.
Hey, I'm just saying, at some point it's going to have to stop. And if where we draw the line is St. Patrick's Day, that's fine. Because if you come at me with anything less than St. Patrick's Day, you're going to get major fucking blowback from me. So at some point, you don't fuck with 4th of July, you don't fuck with St. Patrick's Day, you don't fuck with Christmas. Those three things are fucking sacred.
What if they come at you with St. Patrick's Day? It's going to be now the Luck of the Irish Day.
Guess what? I'm going to tell you to fuck off, and I'm going to keep wearing shit that says Happy fucking St. Patrick's Day.
That's like when I go to the Indians game and I call it the Jake all day long.
Always. It's always going to be the fucking Jake.
Yeah. I don't care if you name it Progressive Field or...
Right. Fuck you, Flo.
Yeah. Or whatever you're going to change it to.
Jamie.
First Bank National Field. Fuck off.
Is that what's next?
I don't know.
Is it First Bank now?
No.
Is that even a thing anymore?
I just made
it
up.
First National Bank
shot from the hip.
Man.
I shot right over the head of the Spanishes.
No habla español?
No
No.
habla.
That's all I got. I speak the worst Spanish of any person in America.
Si, senor. I say that a lot.
Dude, I keep telling this guy, if you got a friend that says the same thing all the time, like si, senor, at least change it up to a different fucking language.
Oui, monsieur.
That's what I gave you the other day. I gave you that. I handed it to you on a plower. Have you used it yet with anybody else?
Plower? What's a plower?
On a platter. It was a fucking platter.
We're gonna have one of those nights where we're all making fun of what each other one says. Here
That's
we
right.
go. Here we go.
That's all right. On a platter. Have you used it yet though? Have you used oui monsieur to anybody yet?
Oui, monsieur. No, I have not.
You
I
should.
probably said oui too many times. So I just want to get to the next one.
Next.
We're fucking stolen out here.
What?
But collections. Now, I don't mean like at church. I mean like, what do you collect besides dust? That was a joke. But
What do I collect besides dust?
Not okay. Forget the dust part. What do you collect?
I don't really have that many things left that I mean, tools. I feel like as a man, your tool collection
No. I
evolves
mean,
over time.
we know you collect. I'll give you an example. We know you collect deer heads. And
I do collect deer heads and guns.
and guns. So that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
what do you collect?
Deer heads and guns. Good job. You nailed it.
That's it.
Memories. I don't know.
Okay.
Like,
do I know you better than you know you? You collect glasses as well.
Yeah. Glasses. We do collect glasses.
See, he's oh yeah.
Glasses.
Oh, yeah.
And we've actually transitioned. It used to be any place we went that had a glass that we could buy or purchase on some level. Any watering hole, we would get a glass to bring home. After you fill your curio, empty your curio, fill your curio, empty it like 4 times, and you've just got bins of glasses, you start giving them all away. So we decided to upgrade and start going to full bottles of liquor is what we're getting from different places. So we're actually building a pretty.
Now, is this like we're leaving them sealed type
Yeah.
collection?
So we got a pretty good collection coming. So
now, what's the mentality behind that? I get the bottles are cool and the bottles are different.
Yeah.
But leaving them sealed, that doesn't get you what you're actually going for there.
it actually does.
Does it?
Well, you know me. May be hard to believe if you're outside of the fucking Hateful Eight here, but I like being the center of attention sometimes.
No.
I know. That's weird. So what this is all going to lead up to is going to be to my cancer party. That's what I've decided is once I have my cancer party, we break out all the liquor, and then whatever you're drinking, you got to hear the story about how I got that bottle of liquor.
Fuck.
So then you're stuck because you're getting drunk for free. But
Man.
but you're doing it at the expense of your
Cancer
ear.
party.
Right.
That's horrible.
I'm going to have one. What are you going to do? Am I going to cry about it? What are you going to do? It's going to fucking happen.
By the time either one of us gets
Just be
cancer,
glad it's not going to be my Alzheimer's party because that would be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, like I don't know where I got this bottle.
Put that bottle down. I don't even know you. Hoo-ah. See? That's when I have Alzheimer's.
Holy fuck, he did hoo-ah.
That's how you know.
I've got that on tape now.
Woo! He's going to play that motherfucker.
So
on
what about
loop.
as a kid? Did you collect anything as a kid?
I mean, I feel like I was pretty typical as a kid. Coins
Baseball cards?
Coins and baseball cards. Those were my 2 big things. I got some of the coins put away for a rainy fucking day. Not much, but about 50 or 60 different coins. But the baseball cards are where it was at, man.
So
I got a
something
bunch of
else
those
I
put
know
away.
you collect. Hats.
I mean, I more have them laying around. It's kind of like women with
don't-
lighters. Like,
But I don't mean
I
it-
might have 50 of them, but I can only find 6 at any given time.
Sure. But I mean, see, some of these collections aren't just, they're more of, I guess you could call them accumulations.
Yeah.
Because I like to wear hats. I
Right.
don't like collect them like, oh, put this one here, put that one there. But what I will do is I enjoy getting a different hat from wherever I go.
That's fair.
But see, I don't collect anything much anymore. I have collections of stuff that I have collected. Me and my boys back in the day, we would collect Zippos.
Oh, really?
It was something we would always hang out at the truck stops, and they always had a little carousel full of Zippos whenever they would update it. And plus, we would go to the Quonset hut. And,
They always had them there.
And somewhere in like,
Quonset Hut was a head shop, by the way.
yeah, pretty much.
It was. They had music and shit, but it was a head shop ultimately.
Quonset hut was awesome back in the day.
Dude, that was the place to go. If you were a fucking stoner, that was the place of all places.
We weren't even stoners back when we went, and it was still great.
That's the face of a liar.
Who else had them? Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, we would buy them. They weren't that expensive at the time. They were like $14, $12 to
Exactly.
like $25, depending on the model. And we did.
You always used to check the Roman numeral on the bottom to see what series you got?
Nope.
Oh, really?
Uh-uh.
Oh, man. You never done that?
I mean, we might have done. You know what? Maybe we did.
The X is a standard. That's a 10. And if you get an XV, so there's everything between X, XI, XII, XII, XIV, and XV. If you get a 15, that's like the highest graded ones that they have, and they're hard to find.
Okay, well, I have a lot of cool ones. Like one of my famous ones to me, my most pride and joy is it's got a picture of a hand, and then when you open it, there's like it like reveals the deck, like the card deck.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's
And
super
then-
cool.
And then like I don't know, I had all kinds. I used a lot of them because we were smokers back then. And,
Yeah.
And so that was one.
Shoes is actually one that I don't collect them like people collect them and keep them in boxes on a shelf.
People do, but you don't.
I collect them to wear them though. Like I actually was thinking about that the other day. I've got like 17 or 18 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, but see, I would. For me, that would be an accumulation. It wouldn't be actually a collection.
That's true. That's a good way. That's an accumulation. I'll put up with that.
So coins, I have a small collection of coins. I got some really old ones, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But most of them, it was like a. I think I've said this on the show before. It was more like a. What do you get in the winter? Cabin fever.
Oh.
I'm like a cabin fever thing where I'm on eBay. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking just start buying some coins. So I just bought a few old ones. You know, not nothing expensive. $8 here.
Yeah.
$10 here. Oh, maybe $15 for this old 1925 quarter. Whatever. So it's kind of cool. I just got it out the other day. The kids like it. It's kind of fun to go through, but I'm not like an avid collector.
Yeah.
Baseball cards when I was a kid. I think I only collected them 1 year, 1986.
That was the only year.
Like that I collected extensively.
Do you have it all? Do you still have you have the set?
Yeah,
still?
I still got it.
So that should be the Bonds rookie. It's a true story.
It's the all black border.
Yeah, the 86. That's the Bonds rookie card.
Oh, I probably have it. Then.
He's got that one. That one when he only played like 34 games, and then the following year where it's all wood.
Yes.
is like his top super rookie card. So
I have some of those too.
yeah.
Because we kind of faded out. A bunch of us kids in the neighborhood.
And me and my brother and all my friends loved baseball and
Yeah.
football and basketball cards. It
I
didn't
knew
matter.
so much more about the players just from collecting the cards. Like I knew
You
that.
know everybody in the fucking league at that point.
Right. Excuse me. Also, kind of collected road signs as a juvenile.
I never touched a road sign.
We would take stop signs. There was one time. Excuse me, a little tickle. You know the blinky lights, construction blinky lights.
Yeah.
We figured out a way, and whatever size bolt they had on there, take a few of those. Those are fun to have in your bedroom, just blinking away.
Something else.
Yeah,
It's funny.
like one-way signs. That was my nickname in high school. Was one way because I went down the wrong way on one too many one-ways.
Did you?
And started calling me one way.
That's funny.
They actually stole me, and it's in my basement still. It's a old vintage one-way sign, and it was so cracked from the sun. It just looks like somebody like put an artist's touch to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I ever tell you about going signing when we were kids?
Signing?
Yeah. So I was probably 15 at the time. I was like the first time I was allowed to stay home with Josh being there. And if my mom and dad are listening to this, which they're not, sorry, my bad. But we ended up with 8 of us total. And we split up into teams of 2. And we had a list of like, the green road cross
Yeah,
signs.
I do remember this story now.
Okay, so those were worth 10, and then on down the line with your political signs and everything else, and you had like 3 hours to collect everything and get back to the rendezvous point. My brother's team won in a fucking landslide. We had way more signs than they did, but they had 6 of those, and we come to find out that my brother, who he's not a big guy, but he's not a little guy either. He figured out how he could use his weight to his advantage, and he would climb up on the big cross signs and wrap himself around them and get the swing down. And when he knew it was going to break, he would swing backwards a couple times real fast and snap it off to where it's cool. And I will never forget that he actually stole the one that was from the intersection of High and Smoke Rise.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The fact that intersection exists, and then
High and Smoke Rise.
and then he had it. It was pretty cool. It sat in front of ours living room for years and years until we moved. So,
All right.
I'm
So
down
what
with
else do I
signs.
have? For a while, I collected CDs.
That's not a collection though. That's an accumulation though too, because it's all stuff that you listen to and you like. You use it. Most
But I
collections,
considered
most
it-
collections are things that get set off to the side and not really used.
I
Though.
don't believe so because, like in music like vinyl collection.
But how often do you put that vinyl actually on the fucking needle?
Yeah,
Because
but-
you're so scared that
Not
something's
me.
going to happen. It's
Not
going to go.
me. Not me. Because I
Nah.
have the Banks and Olufsen that does this. It slides.
You said the Banks and Olsen.
No, not banging Olsen.
I said the Banks and Olsen. That's what you said. Don't try to make shit up that I'm wrong. I say enough dumb shit as it is.
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a German. I do know how to pronounce it. I just
Bengtson Olsen! Was that better?
no. I kind of collected shot glasses a little bit.
I did too for like 3 days.
Yeah. I got like 6 of them, and I'm like, I'm done.
I think I've got like 20.
Yeah, okay. Opening day magnets. And speaking of which, Jake's going to get his first one ever.
Bam! Popping that opening day cherry!
Yeah, we're going to the opening day for the Cleveland Indians. Myself and a former coworker from the Corp, Mr. Reno, he and I have been
He's a mutual friend. More Adam's friend than mine, but...
Yeah, Jake knows who he is more than
Jake knows who
most
he is.
of you would.
We're good friends. We go way back.
Way back. But Steve and I, Reno and I, he'll never listen either.
If he does, you're dead.
Oh my God,
you
I just dropped the dime.
You dropped the dime on him live across the internet. You're fucked.
Like I said, he won't ever know. This isn't like a Tony Grossi thing.
Dude, you're so fucked. I can't wait to play this for Reno while we're at opening day. I'm going to be like, look what Adam did. Look what Adam did to you.
First of all, you won't remember at opening day.
That's the plan, baby.
Second of all, it's all good. But anyways, I don't know.
So every year you and Reno.
Oh, we this is going to be our 11th year straight, so we're looking forward to it. And Mr. Man here is going to be up there with us, so we're going to have a great time.
Right. I may have mentioned this on the show. No, don't know, but I know I've told you. When my wife was much younger, she was holding our youngest at a minor league baseball game. She had just handed her off to her mom, and within like 10 seconds, line drive hit her in the face and broke her jaw.
Not cool.
To where if the little one would have been on our lap, who knows how that would have ended up ultimately. So she has been very reluctant to go to ball games in the past. So now that we have the foul pole to foul pole fencing that's going to be up, not really fencing. It's what's the term that they're using?
Protective net.
Netting is what they're saying. But they're saying that it's a see-through. It's not going to really impede things much. So I look forward to seeing what it does.
It's needed, along with banning the Astros. Anyways,
fucking Astros.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen collected? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So my brother's boss is a very, very, very nice guy. He actually has had several people over to his house to hang out from time to time. And my brother was over there at one point in time, and he was checking stuff out, and they were out in Neil's. Sorry, apologize, Neil. Please don't yell at me. I won't say your last name. I swear to God, I won't.
You did it too.
I know I did it too. He was showing my brother all of his cabinetry and stuff that is in his garage where he does a lot of woodwork. And my brother noticed that they were a little bit different. And he come to find out from talking to his boss that they were all like screws, bolts, plates, things that come out of people. Is what he used. He basically kept it all and then used it to create all of the handles and stuff for his drawers for his carpentry shop.
That's pretty weird.
Well, that's the weirdest one I've ever heard of. You got something weird you've ever heard of?
I mean, this probably isn't weird, and this may be more of an accumulation, but I can remember being at somebody's house that will remain nameless, and it was an older fella.
Yeah?
And opened the cabinet doors there. I was looking for a towel, and I was going to go get a shower, and there was no towels in there. It was like 3 stacks of just adult magazines, like all like. And I was just like, wow, that's quite a collection.
Classic, huh? What era are we talking?
Mid-90s.
Oh, nothing from the 80s, huh?
No.
Man.
But I was just like, wow, it's just like from like the neck to the ceiling. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot.
Man. Did you ever watch Three's Company?
Yeah.
December 1984. That's where she's at. That's where you'll find her.
All right.
Three's Company.
And then my dad, this is his, model trains. Now, that's not weird.
No, my brother collects some of those, so I get it.
But, I mean,
it's like a Christmas thing.
The weird part about my dad's model trains is there was a time when he had a lot.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Sure.
They were all the same gauge, the HO gauge and whatever, and it was really neat. And, you know, he'd have a fun time fucking around with them.
Sure.
And then, like, I come over and, like, he went fucking bananas. Like, all of a sudden he was buying the big, the whatever L gauge and all these other, and I'm like, okay, we're getting a little out of hand here, pops.
Like certain years, this is a 64 cat.
Like you could tell he got addicted like bad. Like it was fun and he had a bunch, and then it was like wham.
We went to a convention and it was all over.
And so that got a little weird because of that.
Nice.
So I want to talk about your other collection. Now, this is a very interesting collection.
Oh, no.
People are going to be like, God damn, you know everything that this guy collects. Tell everybody about your movie collection.
All right, I do have a movie collection.
And
now,
there's specifics to be in this movie collection.
Yes, like it's not just any fucking movie. My collection currently stands at 13 movies. Okay, but every one of these movies I've seen probably 20 to 50 times a piece, and they are all ass kicker fucking type movies. There's something about the movie that's just completely badass from start to finish. I mean, it's like Shawshank, Gladiator, Fight Club, Pulp Fiction. These are the types of If I'm a 1990s misogynist, then fuck me. I guess that's who I am. But
so, what you're saying is you will not purchase a movie unless it fits a specific criteria that you're going to want to watch this thing repeatedly.
Right, Rounders. I believe the last one that made it in recently, and it's been how many years ago now, is The Dark Knight.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I'm very, very picky about it held at 11 for a long, long time.
That's what I have wrote down as Jake's 11.
Yeah, 11. That was number 12. I don't think I've added anything to it, so I think it's actually at 12 right now. I think I said 13 to start, but it should be at 12. I'd have to go back and look though. But
that to me is a funny one because my wife will bring home, not recently, but for years she would just bring home movies like she gets for the $5 bin.
Really?
Something that we wanted to watch or maybe we missed it in the theaters.
Yeah.
And so our movie collection, plus with the kids when they were little, we have a shit ton.
Yeah.
But I always thought this was interesting that you're like, no. I will not just buy a movie unless it meets the specific criteria.
That's right.
Now, you mentioned one.
Step Brothers. That one might have been in there. Is Step Brothers 13? What you're gonna make me do is make me go upstairs tonight.
I was gonna ask you if you knew them.
And pull the bin out and actually take a look. I could probably do it over enough time if I wrote them down.
You mentioned one that you were talking shit about last show.
Which one?
Fight Club. Because Brad Pitt's a big pussy.
I'm allowed to talk shit about Brad Pitt. I didn't fucking hate on his performance in the movie itself, or nothing like that. You can be a complete piece of shit and make a wonderful piece of art. There's something to be said for that. If you can't separate the person from the art, then you're not paying fucking attention. I love Christian Bale, but Christian Bale's an asshole to every person he ever fucking meets in this world.
Well, my question is this. You said you weren't going to spend any more money on Brad Pitt.
It's been spent. It's a sunk cost, brah.
Right. So I get that. But because he's a douche, you're not going to take it out of the collection?
No.
Okay.
No, it's paid for. It's in the collection.
All right.
I don't feel like Brad Pitt of today felt like that Brad Pitt.
Okay.
That's where I am with that.
You think that was a Trump-driven speech?
What did you think?
I didn't listen to it.
Well,
that's how much I care.
I'm not going to give him credence to even quote it. I'm just saying, clearly it was somebody that's way out of touch. It was a two for that night. If you're going to bring it back up, I'm going to reiterate in case somebody didn't hear it before. He shit on our president during the fucking speech he'd been waiting 25, 30 fucking years to give because he had never won an Academy Award for his actual acting. So that was fucking part number one. The second part was during his red carpet, and they were asking him about being a stuntman. He acted like he was a giant mangina that couldn't ever do his own stunts ever. So, yeah, sorry, Brad.
Sorry there, Bradley.
Not really.
Okay. All right. Well, you answered my question?
Goddamn, I'm going to have to look up your collections now. I mean,
I might have a couple more.
I'm going to have to find some because I feel like you know way too fucking much about me.
Well, I don't have any gun collections. I have a couple guns, but I need to update them.
You know what I'm going to do?
Keep telling Jake I'm going to throw them away. You're like, you're not throwing them away.
You're not throwing shit away, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to contribute to your gun collection. I'm going to give you a gun to add to your collection.
No, you're not.
I do. I am. I got a bunch of them. I got to help a brother out.
All right.
I need to make room for a new one.
Moving on.
I got a harp. Can I go with my harp?
Fuck.
Can I?
Harp that you're harping. Quicker than I look.
I don't know how many of you out there work in a field where you would consider yourself a professional. I do. I consider myself a pro. After 20 years, I better be a fucking pro.
Amen.
If not, I suck at what I do. Right? It was a build-up to get to what I do. You're definitely a fucking pro. I deal with you on a daily basis. Sometimes I
try to be. Sometimes I'm a douchey pro.
Yeah, but you are. But you're still a fucking pro. I mean, Allen Iverson was kind of a douchey sometimes pro, but he was a fucking pro.
That's kind of me. I'm kind of like the Allen Iverson. Not all the time, but I can be.
I know. But I'm going to tell you what.
I know.
Want me to fucking sugarcoat it for you?
Please don't.
We don't do that here because we get down to brass tacks.
Do we? Let's see.
Yeah.
Do we?
Do we? I mean, we do if we're under.
Let's get down to brass tacks, gentlemen.
That's right. We get down to brass tacks, and it's fuck you, no bullshit. You know, we ain't pulled it out in a while because it's not part of the show
Fuck you,
intro
no
anymore.
bullshit.
Right. Fuck you, no bullshit. There you go. Is that better for you? So when somebody has the audacity, no pun intended, to look at me through an email, which is the pussiest way ever of looking at somebody, and say, what you've just done is egregious and highly unprofessional, I want to fucking punch them in the face. And if somebody ever has the balls to send that to you in an email, I encourage you to do what I didn't do because I need to keep my job. So I'm calling the fucking kettle black. I get it. I sent back an email that was one line, and I didn't even address the fact that he'd said anything. And it kills me inside as a fucking man and as a person to know that I had to fucking do that, because if I said what I really thought, it would have probably cost me my job, which would have a really negative effect on my family. So that's my harp right there, is don't ever put yourself in a situation where you need your fucking job. Because I'm going to tell you what, right now, I can tell you bigger than shit that my integrity is worth way more than my fucking job if it wasn't somebody else dependent on it. If it was just me depending on it today, I would have let this asshole have it. Somebody that fucking throws a fucking project at you that's completely fucking late and is a fucking piece of shit about it. They send it to you unorganized, which is not the way to fucking throw over a late fucking project.
Correct.
You tell them that you have drop dead dates, that you have to hit things. They miss those drop dead dates by 2 fucking weeks. All of a sudden, when you give them their lead time, once everything's buttoned up, and they're pissed off and call you unprofessional because you didn't tell them up front of what the actual fucking ship date would be. And I know that that was a long way to go through exactly what's going on, and I wish I could tell you the whole fucking story straight up, but all I'm saying is this. If you are somebody that considers yourself to be a professional, before you even for a fucking second try to tell somebody else that they are unprofessional, you better take a hard fucking look in the mirror. I did after this guy said this to me, because it made me question it. Am I unprofessional? Did I handle this unprofessionally? At the end of the day, I did not. This guy's a fucking douche. If by any fucking chance you're listening to the show and you would like to retort, I would love to fucking hear it.
Amen.
That's my heart for
That's
now.
happened to me. Matter of fact, it was kind of along these lines when it happened to me. It wasn't nearly on the same level as yours, but I had a request that something wasn't right and it needed fixed. And then the person proceeded to tell me how I should have went about this so it doesn't happen in the future.
Okay.
And I laughed because it came down to a name. A name was incorrect, and he wanted me to. He was telling me to highlight, copy, and paste so you don't screw up the name, someone's name.
He was trying to explain to you how to copy and paste?
Well, he was explaining to me what my procedure should be so I don't screw him up in the future.
That's great.
And I'm like, my child, let me tell you.
Is this a newer employee?
No.
Okay.
So I go back to the request, and
Okay.
the request,
The request.
the person that requested it actually gave me the name incorrectly. So guess what, Mr. Copy and Paste? I did that.
That copy and pasted it wrong coming to you?
But when I copied and pasted the wrong information that was given to me, guess what? It's going to be wrong every single time.
That's
So
awesome.
I definitely appreciate the lesson. Not.
That's awesome.
All right. What else do I got here? That was your harp. All right.
Yeah, sorry, that was my...
one last thing I collect. I collect bobbleheads.
Did not know that.
Yeah. But I don't collect them from me. It's interestingly enough, I have one or two that I have retained as mine. But I give them all to my kids. Usually when we go, we'll have 4 tickets, so we'll get 4 bobbleheads. I give one to Reno. I'll give one to somebody else, and then the 2 go to my kids. So
Nice.
it's fun.
That
And
is
they've got
fun.
a little collection, and it's growing. And
It's a good time.
although the way my son keeps his, I don't think he really gives a shit about them.
No.
And somebody bumped into the shelf, and they're all broken, so I'm like gluing these bobbleheads back together. Anyways,
Hey, that's your OCD coming out.
well,
He'll love it someday.
he's got worse than I do. All right, so here we go.
Here we go.
Listen closely. Tell me what you think. Where do pussies that steal or vandalize stuff from homeowners rate on your list of scumbags?
There's a lot in that question. All right, so we've established that they're pussies.
Well, I've established that they're pussies.
Okay, and their crimes are, what are they again?
Thievery from homeowners and or vandalism.
To me, those are two different things.
They are.
And they're very
100%.
different.
The reason why I ended vandalism is because I have a neighbor that lives like through my back window across the way, has this beautiful white vinyl sign.
Yeah.
And these fucking punks on Friday nights, for the longest time, would come by and kick one of the panels out. And this dude is a hothead, the owner of the house, and he would come out and he'd have the cops down there, and it kept happening every night after a football game. And I felt so bad for the guy. I'm like, God, I wanted him to catch the fucking punks that were doing it like vicariously. I just wanted him to do it. So this was years ago.
Okay.
And then just the other day, I looked out, and a fucking plank is missing, and I'm like, but it's been missing for like 4 weeks. I think since then, the guy's not that old, but I think he had a heart attack. I think he's slowed down a little bit.
All right.
So he's not out there.
So that plank's not the end of his life anymore.
It's not teetering anymore. I think he's breathing deep. But still,
he had to move on.
But still, that pisses me off.
It's a dick
man.
move, for sure.
That
I'm not going to argue that that's a dick move.
Like okay. My other example is I've had my car radio stolen a few times from my driveway. There is nothing more violating feeling. Possibly your house would be worse.
Your wife,
of course, but just your own property. When I can remember thinking there was some fucking doucher fucking going through my shit.
Amen.
And that is the part
there.
that gives you fucking chills and wants you to start strapping the piece on and just looking for them. Not that I want to condone shooting somebody, but you fucking take my shit, man.
Yep.
You deserve it.
Happened to me once when I was working at a fucking bar. Came outside, my fucking window was busted, and my shit was all fucking taken.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
No.
So my question is, why do they think they're entitled to our stuff?
I don't really know. I mean, I really think that on some level, like the theft thing is more of like thrill seeking most of the time. I mean, I'm not going to give you a detailed list, but I will tell you that there are certain yard fixtures that we have taken over the years. At one point in time, we needed a child's basketball hoop to go with a pool in a backyard, so we found one. We made it readily available. We used it for the night, and then we replaced it. We took it back the next day.
That's completely different.
I mean, we were kind of adult about the whole thing, even though we were in our 2021 period right there.
I imagine most of this stuff happens from juveniles.
Like I'm talking like a yard gnome. Like, are you really gonna miss that yard gnome?
No, I'm not talking about
I
that.
might love that yard gnome more than you ever did.
Hey, everybody's got their own qualms and whatever issues and wants and likes. Basically, like destruction of property and or just stealing your shit.
Yeah, you shouldn't have that. That's for sure. I mean, destruction of anything should never be part of it.
I don't know what we're getting there. I think that's you.
That is probably me. Sorry, it's the vibration on the table. So anyway, no, I think that they're assholes.
So
on
where
whatever
do they-
I mean, I was an asshole back then, so I'm not going to try to fucking cover for them. I was an asshole back
Right.
when we used to do the little shit like that. To me, there's a big difference between like straight up fucking ganking something little and like totally fucking up your house.
I would never, I don't care when I was a juvenile or not. Like I said, we were taking street signs and we were taking things from the fucking city.
You said
Like,
I would never. Are you a Southern Belle? I would never.
Never.
I would never.
Like from somebody else's property. I was scared shitless. Like for instance, if I was TPing somebody's house and the lights came on, I ran like a freaking freight train.
No, you didn't. You froze until they went off, and then you started
No,
again.
I ran. We booked it. Pew! Listen, I don't care. I don't care. Call me a pussy, man. I have a fear of getting busted. Therefore, going into somebody's backyard and stealing their bike or something, I could never do that.
Well, no. You never steal a kid's bike. There's a special place in hell.
But there are people
if
that
you-
do that shit.
There are, and they're super douches. That's why I said at the beginning. It depends on what you're talking about here.
Anybody that
Bernie
steals-
Madoff stole shit out of people's fucking
Well,
retirements.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stealing from homeowners.
Yeah. Well, get the ring. Get the ring and fucking string them up, because that's what's fucking happening to everybody now.
Okay.
That's where I'm at with that.
So I said, why do they think they're entitled to our stuff? Basically, my response to that is, get off your ass, get a job, and hey, you can own stuff too.
It's true. Stuff could be yours.
Or why do they think they need to break our stuff to feel complete? fucking jackass.
Misery loves company, brah.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
So where would you rate them 1 to 10 on the douchery scale?
Ooh, on the douchery scale, do we have any comparatives? Like who are the other douches?
Doesn't matter.
Is this like the takes your number but never calls you douche? Or the douche that runs into you when you're carrying beers and doesn't say "excuse me, douche"? Like what level of douche are we going for here?
Where do you? This isn't probably number one. Obviously, there's more severe douchers.
I'll give him a 6.5 on the douche scale. You could
I'm giving him a good 7.5.
Oh man, you could go way douchier than this.
I mean, this is pretty bad. I might even give him an 8.
Yeah, but the problem that you deal with from this douche is for a day, maybe 2. It's not a long-term douche problem, which those are, I think, what you get like 7 and up. 7 and up is long-term douchery. So that's my feeling on that.
By the way, I just looked at the screen. I think the logo is in focus.
It should be in
focus.
focus.
If you guys have noticed, our Harper Guys logo has been a little blurry in 48 fucking videos.
Right.
Johnny's got a little sheen to him, but not Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, you know what
And I'm pretty sure Tim Misney's making him pay in fine HD quality.
That's right. You know what Johnny Cash was saying there, don't you?
Fuck you, Adam.
He said, "Can you hear this? Let me turn it up."
Sorry, I don't know how this machine works.
Right?
I didn't know what it did.
It's so weird.
All right, moving on.
What we got next? Anything to finish up the show?
Yeah.
All right.
Calling the cops. This kind of ties into the next one.
All right, calling the cops.
Have you ever had to call the cops on neighbors or you drove by something and you're like, I'm fucking, those people are fucking breaking into that house. I'm calling the cops. Have you ever had to do, or, I mean, okay, most of us have had to call the cops if there was an accident. Have you ever had to call the cops or was like compelled?
No.
Most of us have had a time where you wanted to and you're like, yeah, fuck it. I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting in fucking involved.
That's where I've always been. I mean, unless you're really fucking with my shit, which nobody's ever gone to that extreme with it. No, I've never had to call the cops. I've thought about it a couple times when people were getting completely unruly, but at the same time, I'm a conservative by vote, but at the same time, I believe that kids are going to be kids. I didn't see anything on fire. I didn't see anybody getting raped in the front yard. You know what I mean? Like to where,
well, like our good friend Mary at work says, no one died and no one went to jail.
Right.
Although if I call the cops, maybe.
Right. Maybe one of those two could happen.
So I had to call the cops a couple weekends ago.
How did you feel about it? Well, we'll let you tell the story. Then I want you to answer how you felt about it.
I get a little nervous about things like that because overall, I have the sense of, like you do, I was a kid once. I get it.
Right.
I'm not flying by the seat of my pants calling the fucking coppers on the daily.
Yeah.
I've lived at my residence now for almost 20 years. That's right. I'm an old fucker.
20 fucking years.
My wife has called the cops at least 3 times. I may have called the cops once before this. But that's, I'm doing pretty good. That's once every decade, right?
Yep.
So anyways, we live on a street. Street's not real wide, so it's narrow street. On the street, we do not have sidewalks. So from the edge of the road, you're right there. It's yard, road, yard across the street. Occasionally, we get people recently that want to park in their vehicle at the end of my driveway, which if you keep going, it goes to a duplex.
Okay.
I live in an amazing neighborhood. I said duplex. That's right. There's one on my street, and I live across from it.
I get it.
The owner lives right beside me. He's in his 80s now. He used to really tend to him, keep the whip cracking on him, keeping him in place. But now he's 82, 83. He's slowing down a little bit.
It's about your turn.
He's, I'd love him to hand it over because they'd be outskis. So anyways, the lady that lives across the street from me, not sure what she fucking does. I don't even know how she gets it by the owner.
Sure.
But she kind of appears to be running a halfway house. There's a bunch of young kids, and they're always coming and going.
Can't do that halfway.
Her daughter is a little bit younger than me, ish, and she has 2 kids that live there. Those are the 4 people that are supposed to be there.
Okay.
They have a lot. I don't know if these are their kids' friends. I don't know if they're just acquaintances. I don't know if it really is a fucking halfway house, and these kids are just there. But juveniles, at times, can be up to no good. For the most part, we have had 0 issues.
Pretty good utes, huh?
Minus the fact that the mom of the kids and her friend overdosed on heroin. The ambulance pulls up. This is about a year and a half ago. Ambulance pulls up, all kind of commotion. She is shit-faced off her ass, high on heroin, no joke.
Sure.
In Ohio, they can't do anything to you. If you overdose and you call the paramedics and the police, everybody shows up, and they can't do a fucking thing except help you.
Give you the Narcan.
Right. So they help her. So right away, I'm like, ugh, now I've got heroin across the street.
It's always nice.
So at that point, I've despised these people.
Yep.
So now, up to speed here. There's a car at the end of my driveway, not at the literally end, but across the street at the end of my driveway, and there's people in it, and this has been going on and on and on and on and on and on for a couple months, where it's not every night, but then they're out there. There's just, why the fuck, it's cold out. Why are you just sitting in the car? Go in the fucking house.
So they're just sitting in the car right out in front of your house.
There's like 5 or 6 of them in this small,
in one car,
in one SUV.
Okay,
sitting there. I don't know if for years and years and years living at this residence, if some weird car is sitting out front, I will open up the door, make sure they see me watching them. Then they usually move along.
And the can of whoop ass.
Because, for one, stranger danger. You shouldn't be in my neighborhood. I don't recognize your car. Get the fuck out.
Right.
Obviously, I know this car is with the people over there, but you still shouldn't be outside late. I'm talking 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Just sit in your car. It looks like you're up to no good. I'm sorry. I'm going to call the cops on you every single time. But I haven't. Until I take my kids, one of my sons, he had a sleepover, so his buddy had to go home. I take his friend home with my son, so he's going to drop him off, and then we're both going to come back together. When I left, I kind of give these guys a glare, because as I'm backing up out of my driveway, I kind of parallel with them. Then I give them the stare, and I drive off. I come back. There is a beer can that doesn't match one that I would drink.
Yeah.
And we have another punk that lives across diagonally that will occasionally leave a beer bottle out or a beer can, but it's always Bud Light. So I knew it wasn't that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a problem with him because he eventually will pick up his trash.
Sure.
I understand.
Out of his own yard?
Well, he'll open the door and let one hit, and then after a couple days he'll pick it up. You know what? Whatever. We know the routine, right?
Okay.
But this was at the end of my driveway, and I know are pretty good ideas because I give him the old glare, right? Oh, old man's giving me a glare. I'm going to chuck this back and toss it out the window. So I pull in. I drive over top of the beer can, not smushing it, but drive over top of it, pull in. My son's with me. And I get out of it. And I this is not me. I'm not usually one to say anything. The only time I yell in my yard at anybody in the neighborhood is when a car is like flying down my road. I'll yell, slow down, like a grumpy old man. Fuck it. My kids are usually out.
I get it, man. Same thing in my neighborhood. We get it all the time.
Right. So I turn around and I yell at the car, pick up the fucking beer can.
Yeah.
I said, I know it's not so-and-so's because it's not a Bud Light. And boy, the driver head snapped. I knew they heard me. I don't know if they knew what I said.
Right.
I'm probably about 25 to 30 feet away from them. My son, a little 11-year-old, he's like, way to go, Dad. He's
so proud of you.
But I'm infuriated. So I go in the house. I tell my wife. She goes, you're kidding me. And another side note, my daughter hates littering. She's 14 years old. She actually has a group I've mentioned on the show before. She'll get together these girls from middle school. They'll go around, they'll clean up neighborhoods.
Sure.
So shit like this already bugs us because we're aware of it, and we do work in the community to keep it clean.
Sure.
And this is at the end of my driveway because of those fucktards at the end of my driveway. Spitting everywhere. So I called the cops. I told my wife. She kind of egged me on. Yeah, fucking call them. I said, plus they're creeping me out there at the end of my driveway. Call the cops. This dispatcher was 100% understanding.
Right.
It was
on your side from start to finish.
A lady that just was like, okay, you want to keep going? Fine. I completely understand. No problem. I'll have somebody out.
Great.
Cops, they were there. Not a huge city, but big enough that they should have been there maybe in 10 minutes. They were there in like 3.
Bam.
Fast. I look out. I see the 2 of them pulled up, one in the front, one in the back. Well, here the mother is probably in her late 30s, gets out screaming at the cops.
It's always a good look.
Screaming at the cops. One cop knows her, the other one doesn't. The one that doesn't is telling her, yelling back, saying, "You better get in the car." He's like, and she's yelling, "I'm not armed." He goes, "I don't know you." So on and on and on about shit like this. They ask him about the beer can that's still sitting there. They never cleaned it up. Obviously, they only had about 5 minutes to clean it up.
Sure.
It's not ours. I thought, man, I know it's theirs, but hopefully they.
Of course you know it's theirs.
Hopefully they didn't do
Who
something
else would throw it in there?
to unprove it. And the cop comes over. He goes, "Oh, it's not yours, son." He shines the light, and well, then why are there other ones that match that? I'm like, fuck yeah. So all of these kids that are in the car are 17 to 18.
Nice.
The mom, like I said, is in her late 30s. Way to go, mom. Heroin.
Parent of the year.
Parent of the year. She's bitching at the cops like they owe her something.
They do.
Freaking out on him. Back up just a second. When I called the dispatch, she goes, "Would you like the officer to come over afterwards and talk with you?" And I was like, "No, you know what? What I'm doing is enough. Even if they get a warning, I still feel like I've done my job."
The old Fumbarooski, huh?
My wife she's the one reporting all this. She was out there on the porch having a stogie in the dark, observing it all. So they were all over their shit to start.
Sure.
Then they had him come out, kind of like just briefly search the car. Then they started talking to him. It ended up where the finishing statements were to the kids and the mom, "Sorry about that. We'll be going on our way now." When I heard that, I was like, ugh, I wish I would have had that motherfucker come over, because he missed him on a couple different things here. One, he could have got him for littering. Okay, that might have been kind of petty. The underage drinking in open containers, which was
the open container is the open and closed of it. There's 5 or 6 cans in the car.
Right. So what I'm pretty sure happened was all these people have been in trouble at some point. All these kids have been in trouble, and they just didn't want to slap one more thing on them. And I'm sure there's some respectable cops out there that probably feel that way with Johnny and Jimmy. These guys have just they haven't had the greatest upbringing. I get it. But
Don't be fucking with your neighbors' yards and shit, and don't be fucking creepy about it.
Don't be fucking douchey and creepy, and just for those out there that are younger, you won't understand this till you're a homeowner, and you want to keep your shit fucking nice.
Yeah.
And you don't want the slum to be in your neighborhood. I'm sorry if you live in a bad neighborhood to begin with. It sucks. But bottom line is, I felt, after it was all said and done, I was gratified that he found the beer can in there that matched, because I was like, I didn't just call for bullshit. I didn't just call bullshit here.
Well, the good thing is, too, is I feel like you got your warning shot out of the way, to where I feel like next time that you call, you're going to know that you want the police to come talk to you if you have to call again. And second of all, they're going to know that they have to come talk to you after they let them all off the hook the first time. I think repercussions will end up a little bit different if you have to go down this road again.
I think I'm going to also, if I have to, which they'll have to do something strong, because, for whatever reason, it just had to be stronger, because they're definitely not aggressive.
It's not a matter of aggression, it's a matter of law.
True, but I'm saying, like if I came out and like my tire was flat the next day, then I would have been fucking pissed. I would have definitely called the cops.
Right, that's a different thing.
Right.
That's your vandalism, friends.
Right. We don't like that.
Right.
I think that my wife thinks what they did was, the only thing that they tried to retaliate was, I think they pissed in a water bottle.
Sons of bitches.
And set it. It was still in the road, but it was like kind of close to my driveway.
Whatever.
And I think they thought by me backing out and squishing it, that they'd be like, "Ha! He's got piss all over his tire." But I never ran over it. We think the guy that always throws the Bud Light bottles out occasionally, we think that he ran it over. So I don't know. But if that's as far as they're going to go, I have no problem. But at the same time, you should have done something other than, "Sorry to bother you."
Yeah, but you can't fix cops. Cops are going to get it wrong just as much as they're going to get it right. I mean, I feel like they try to err on the side of caution. They know that they're dealing with regular people. Sometimes they're douchey. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they don't. It's a fucking crapshoot with cops. Cops are like a box of chocolates.
Still,
you could have got Jimmy Hardass out there that put them all in jail.
What I would have liked to see, you might ask me, what would I have liked to see? I would have liked to see them all cuffed, pushed up against the car, and then let off with a warning.
Like roughed up a little bit?
No, not roughed up, just scared a little bit. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to let y'all go, but if you do this again, I'm going to be coming down hard on you.
It's going to be your ass.
Just put a little fear of God into them.
Yeah.
Not the,
Okay.
sorry about that.
I'm good with that.
It's not that I want everybody rung up for every fucking little misdemeanor, and I know that
I get it.
I know that our police have better things to do than worry about a beer can at the end of my driveway.
Yeah.
But it's also a decent, respectable neighborhood, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Egregious. I mean, I agree. I agree with you. I agree.
And finally,
one more for the road.
I think our listeners would love to hear Jake's cop in the kitchen story.
Oh. All right. So it's been a couple years ago now.
This is going to blow your mind.
And I am, as Adam has mentioned, I do collect guns. Most of them are either heirlooms or used as some kind of a hunting weapon. I have a couple that are simply for home defense. I can have them readied in a matter of seconds, but they're also not wide open in the middle of the room. They're pretty inconspicuous. I ended up in a situation a couple of years ago to where I was laying in bed and I heard something downstairs.
What time do you think it was?
It was probably 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
So really fucking late.
On a weeknight. I mean, this wasn't Saturday at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, because there's a lot of times that we're up at that point in time. I heard something, and my wife heard it, and so I went ahead and I grabbed one of my weapons of choice, the hallway clearer.
Oh, wait, I'm going to stop you here real quick.
That's fine.
Because you told me, we were talking about this, and you were like, you ever have one of those moments where, like, you hear something and then the wife nudges you, and then it's like, I really got to get out of bed.
Well, yeah, I had that moment. But, I mean, that's kind of how the whole thing started. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Exactly like that. But then once I knew that it was something, once I knew somebody was in my home, everything changes at that point. You think about yourself last. You have your wife and your kids to worry about first. I know strategically the way that my house is set up where I need to be positioned. So I literally get what I need to get. I scurry to that position to where anybody that comes around the corner, it's fucking lead sandwich time. You know what I mean? To where once I was in position, I just yelled down the steps. I'm like, who's there? And there was like a pause and like nothing. And it was probably no more than like 2 seconds. But in my brain at that point, it was like a 20-second pause. And this guy was like, my name's Officer blah, blah, blah. I don't want to throw his name out here because I'm not trying to put
That's
anybody.
not what we're trying to do.
No. And I was like, honestly, sir, I have no idea right now whether or not you're actually a cop. I cannot afford you to come any further in my home. I am armed right now with the intent of defending my house and my family. And I probably said it a lot faster and not as calm, like probably actually yelling, but making sure that he knew through my words that I'm standing at the top of the steps with a fucking firearm. If you come around that corner, it's on you. To where he immediately goes into fucking.
Well, let's back up a little bit. Why is he in your house?
So he's in my house. I don't find this out till later. My garage door had been left open. And I would come to find out later that there apparently at this point had been a rash of burglaries in our area. If a rash is one, then I guess we had a fucking rash, because we don't get a rash of anything other than fucking neighbors that don't want to talk to each other. Like, that's the biggest rash we have here of anything. So anyway.
Didn't he tell you it was against the law at that moment?
Well, so what he had said is that our garage was open and that we weren't supposed to be keeping it open, that he walked in through the garage because it was open. He was looking for something to shut my garage with. He didn't find it, which you can't fucking miss it because it's right outside the fucking man door. I mean, if you don't see that button, then you're fucking Helen Keller.
What, with the code and then the enter button?
No, it's a button. It's a giant fucking square button by my back door.
Something was fishy here.
So anyway, so he's in the house and he yells back that he's a cop. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not. So from that position, I said, honey, look out the window. Tell me if you fucking see a cop car outside. Well, there was a cop car with the lights fucking spinning on it to where the red, whites, and blues were all flashing. So I yelled down. I said, look, I need you to stay right where you're at. I said, I'm going to take my firearm. I'm going to place it back where it belongs in my bedroom. And then I'm going to come down the steps. I said, where are you at? And he said, I think I'm in the kitchen. So I kind of directed him on where to turn a light on. He got a light on. I like talking my way through it. Like, I'm going to come around the corner now. I'm going to step off the last step and you're going to see me. I'm going to be right in front of you. I'm going to walk towards you in the kitchen. There's no problem here. So by the time I got in the kitchen, he didn't have a firearm drawn or nothing. It was kind of a weird conversation with him about the whole thing. Like, I just felt like he felt weird about the whole thing. because I was like, look, I don't know why you came in my house. Like, you're not allowed in my house
At all.
Like that's a castle law thing. Like, as a cop, you have to either have warrant to be in my house, or you have to have physically been on the road and seen me do something, which is probable cause for you to come in my. I mean, I know my laws when it comes to
I
this.
have thought about this a lot in the last couple of weeks preparing for this show.
Yeah.
I'm not calling this officer a bad officer. I don't know him.
Right.
I don't know anything about him. But it seemed to me as if he was going to go and see what was up, and if nobody was home, might have might just take whatever he wanted.
I don't know. And maybe that was the case. Maybe, again, I'm not.
What happens if he hollers and doesn't have a retort? No one calls back.
I mean, I do sleep with a fan on, to where it's highly probable that could have happened. Now, that being said, when you sleep with a fan for 35 years, you learn real quickly what to discern as the house settling and movement in your home. Like, it's a thing that's really easy to detect which is which.
Still, it's the weirdest cop story I've ever heard.
Yeah. We've been through them, but I've had a couple weird interactions for somebody that's never been in like major trouble with anything. I've had a couple really strange interactions with cops to where it's like you look at them as people, not as an entity at that point. So
right.
It was bizarre. That being said, my last word on this is just going to be to anybody out there that's ever questioning it, defend your home. Defend yourself with something that you know how to use. Take the time to have somebody teach you how to use something to defend your house with, because you can just never really trust anybody in this world. That's what I learned from the whole thing. So that's what I got.
That's it.
All right, man.
And that's it for the Harper.
It's a great show tonight.
I hope so. Hope you all enjoyed it out there in podcast land.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Pip, pip.
Cheerio!